Where to Hunt podcast. Where to Hunt podcast. It's okay.
Hi, I'm Dan Small, host of Outdoor Wisconsin, and I listen to Where to Hunt.
Man, it's okay.
I'm Kurt Geyer with Working Class Bow Hunter. I listen to Where to Hunt podcast, and it's decent.
It's all right.
Hey, this is Bud Fisher with Catching Deers, and I think the Where to Hunt podcast is all right.
Another bottle of scotch bites the dust.
That's right.
How you doing?
Gotta water that thing down. Ooh, yeah. That's strong without the cubes. Gotta water that pig down. Doing good. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Where to Hunt podcast. The podcast that connects public land hunting enthusiasts, a.k.a. the okayest podcast in the Midwest. Coming at you from the Okayest Hunter podcast studio. Head on over to okayesthunter.com. Use code W2H podcast and save yourself. Look, it's 10%. That's what we do here. We're the 10%ers.
Everybody, every little bit helps.
That's right. And they get back to 2% for conservation.
They do.
So that's cool.
It is.
So, we got two announcements here. We'll make, because we've been working on some stuff.
We have more so you.
No, whatever. You know, we, because you put me not on the deer, but in the woods.
Well, I'll get you in the woods anyway.
We got a new partnership announcement. Fleet Farm is officially on board for a little bit. We're going to see how it goes. We're excited to have them. So more to come with that. But for today, we got their logo on our screen here. So take a look. Heading over to fleetfarm.com. Stop in one of their stores. I don't know. We're pretty enthused about it. They don't have it. You don't need it.
Pretty much. It is the man's mall.
The man's mall. That's what Greg likes to say. I think more people like to say that. I just heard it from you first. Anyway, so more to come with that as we grow that partnership, and expect some discounts and maybe some free stuff and some general goodness and all that. And I suspect we'll have something really neat to happen for, we do our Blaze Orange podcast the Tuesday before the gun opener, but they have their Blaze Orange Friday. So that'll be coming up the Friday before the gun opener.
Yeah.
And we stop there like every year. We stock the hell up, man.
You forget about something, or you need some snacks for the tree stand, or
the car ride, or whatever
it is.
Hot hands, you name it.
Yep.
So that's exciting. Also, there's another new logo down there. The official drink of the Where to Hunt podcast is Drop Tine Spirits. So heading over to Drop Tine Spirits, take a look at those guys. We'll see if we can't get a code 2 for them. But for the moment, that's what we're gonna be drinking when we get restocked up. We got a shipment coming Thursday of 6 bottles of their 12-point bourbon.
If you crush all of that before the end of the year,
then
you and I are gonna have a talk.
I have a problem if that's the case. I don't think I do, but that would be a case.
It would be a case.
It's really good. It is good. It's strong. It's smooth. It's priced. Look, it's not cheap. Like, it isn't, but it's quality.
But
so
good quality spirits, they're gonna cost money.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it ain't like a bottle of Jaeger, that you keep in the freezer for 20 years and drink once a year. You're gonna enjoy this stuff.
You will.
And they also have vodka, corn-based vodka, and they have an apple-based moonshine. So
that moonshine actually is a nice little nightcap. It's more like a dessert drink, or maybe you're into it, but I brought it up to fish camp, not thinking it was anything real crazy.
And they have
most of the guys that were drinking it, they're like, man, that's really good. It's smooth. It's got a nice little apple sweetness to it. It's apple and persimmon.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Well, they made it based off of like what deer like to eat, corn and apples.
Sure.
So that
Corn,
was kind of
apples, and
the
persimmon.
theme. So they're like, well, let's make a corn-based vodka and let's make an apple-based moonshine.
And it's good.
So it's kind of cool. And obviously the logo is a big old 12-point drop tine buck. So
yeah,
that's pretty to look at, that's for sure.
Certainly is.
All right, we got some other advertisements to call out here. one of these days, maybe I will or won't ever get to the Backwoods Grind discount code adding to this fun commercial that we have. But look, before I play it, go to backwoodsgrind.com and you can use code. Where's my paper? Oh my gosh. Holly's gonna laminate one of these for me, all fancy like, so I don't have to like keep using this beat up notebook. But backwoodsgrind.com, the code W2H podcast will save you 10%. We recommend starting with a sampler pack if you've never tried their stuff before. Figure out what flavor you love, and then go back for more. You can set up a subscription. It can show up at your door. It's freshly ground right before they ship it, so it's really good. I actually switched to the whole bean now, so I grind it myself every morning. I do have a bag here for you. Yeah.
Did you get me a bag of whole bean too?
No, I didn't. I don't know if you had a grinder. I don't know what you do with your coffee.
Well, I can just throw it under the tire of my truck and run it over a few times, and that's good enough.
How it works, Greg.
Come on.
Freaking caveman. All right.
Whether you're at work, in a tree stand, or simply waking up, it's important to be alert, and there's no better way to get there than with Backwoods Grind Coffee. Ground fresh for every order, delivered straight to your door. Backwoods Grind Coffee.
Oh yeah, Backwoods Grind Coffee.
Take a look at your feet. Are you wearing Gumleaf USA boots? If you said no, you gotta reevaluate some things. Each pair is handmade and tested to take over 1 million flexes. These boots will take just about anything you can throw at them. Use promo code W2H2020 for 10% off your final purchase at gumleafusa.com.
All right, well, that's what we got there, and you got the Vector one, which, good luck.
Yeah, I can screw that up with the best
Godspeed.
one. Godspeed. So if you're looking for a custom built to your spec kind of arrow, look no further than Vector Custom Shop. VectorCustomShop.com. You can start out with a test pack, so that's 2 different arrows if you want, or 2 of the same, however you want to do it. But you can pick a spine, pick a weight, how you want it built, and give those a test flight. Now, once you figure out what flies best for you and what's working good, you can order a half dozen or a dozen over at VectorCustomShop.com. And when you go to checkout, enter code WHERETOHUNT, and it'll save you 10% off anything on Vector Custom Shop's website. And they now have shirts.
They do.
Yeah, they do have shirts. So
They're good-looking shirts.
yes, they are.
Looks a lot like the background we have here for them now.
Mm-hmm.
Nice arrow planted in the ground.
Beautiful.
We'll get and by the way, if you have a shot of the week you want to share, I don't know if you guys, the people that are watching, if you're like avid listeners or not, or whatever, but send me a message if you're not sure how to send a recording, but you can record into your phone really easily, whether it's an Android or an iPhone, and just send us a story about shooting something, shot of the week story, and we'll get that into the show. So if you have one for even like tonight, if you're watching live, great, or maybe next week, whenever. Let me know if you have any trouble sending one of those through. I'll be happy to help figure it out. Or you can go to the link in our Instagram bio, and we got, I think, a shot of the week button. And if you click that, it takes you to our Anchor thing. You have to have the Anchor app to do it that way. So that's why I say if you have like a recording app or something, use that. Send it to me. And it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool segment. It's brought to you by Vector. So that's that.
Send us something.
Send us your.
We want to hear
send
about
us your
your shot.
stories.
Yeah, we'd like to hear from you.
We did just have a call, but they dropped off, so maybe we didn't get to it in time. If you want to call back again, look like their name showed up as Alex. I'm not sure. Alex, oh, there we go. Couldn't hang long. Got it. Steaks on the Pit Boss, and they're all done. Well, son of a bitch. Steaks on the Pit Boss sound really good.
Yeah, they sound better than listening to us two yahoos.
Hashtag Pit Boss Nation right there.
Pit Boss Nation.
Hey, I did my research. I looked up, and by the way, this whole episode is a BS session. We'll get into some deer stuff and some hunting stuff, I promise.
You did your research, but you know what? Your ma didn't do any research before she had you.
Well, that's true. That was a freaking mistake. So, I mean, I wasn't planning. Let's just say it that way. Like, mistakes are strong.
Here's the
word.
good mistakes.
There we go. Good mistakes. Fortunate mistakes. Happy accidents. No, the Pit Boss is great. I like the, what is that called? Like the great moves, and so it exposes the flame. And I think there are others that do that, but not the other ones I was looking at. Like the Traeger didn't do that, and the Rectech didn't do that. And for the price I had, the budget I had, it fit my need. So Tyler's getting a Pit Boss. I'm not sure if you knew that.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I might have talked him into it and twisted his arm, but he's doing it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Okay. So you and I have been, first of all, everybody, Greg has poison ivy officially.
Officially.
Is it contagious? Do I gotta like fucking
First
not
time-
touch you or something?
First time ever.
Seriously?
I like
I'm
as a kid.
surprised. I
know.
as a kid a bunch of
As a
times.
kid, no. My dad and I would go out and trim shooting lanes and do things out on the fence line. You know, help the farmer clean up the fence line. I swear to God, my dad would look at poison ivy or even catch a whiff of it downwind, upwind for that matter. You wouldn't even have to smell it, and all of a sudden he'd break out in hives.
Really?
Me, I don't know. I could grab a hold of it by the leaves and roll it around in my hand and rub it on my face and never have a problem with it. And now I don't know where I caught up with it, but it got caught in one of my shirts, and from sweating, probably from when we were walking in, it got all over the place. It's pretty much in my armpits, on my chest, and down the back of my arm. So at least it doesn't burn when I pee, so we're good there.
You know, it's funny because I'm looking at this. This is what I remember. So, like, I'm looking at pictures of poison ivy here as you're talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked the effing flowers as a kid for my mom.
Did you make tea?
No, I didn't make tea.
You just gave them to her?
Don't give me any ideas. So, but I didn't know. I was like, oh, these are pretty white flowers, but they were effing poison ivy. So I was totally screwed
Nice.
after that. And I was like, oh, shoot. Well, but so now I'm like really leery of stuff in the woods. I still don't, was it 3 leaves or something? Is that the,
Leaves of 3, leave it be. I don't know.
I don't know, man. That all looks the same to me. Like these people that are like, what's it called? A botanist?
Yep.
I don't know how they do it. Identifying trees and leaves.
They have a book, a really cool
book in their brain.
Well, yeah, if you see it and identify it, it's just like you know all the buttons on this
No, I
nifty
don't.
doodad here.
No, I don't.
And a botanist would come in here and look at that and go, I don't know what the hell that is.
Nah,
And
that's
probably send rockets to NASA, from NASA to Jupiter with it or something.
The orange flower on the bottom is the jewel weed. I don't know what that means. Jewel weed, Reinhardt.
Jewelweed? The orange. Jewelweed is actually not not poison ivy at all.
I don't know. There were some pictures of orange ones on the screen.
Yeah, so the orange ones, if they were orange ones, that is probably jewelweed if it looks like a lady slipper.
You know what?
Deer will eat them.
You know what I got F by a couple years ago cleaning out some our house. I cleaned it. We had like all this overgrowth, so I went in there and I was whacking it all down, and then I was like, oh man, this isn't good.
Nettle.
Stinging nettle.
Yep. It's another thing that deer will
What
eat.
the hell?
Deer will eat stinging nettle.
I was
They'll
terrified
eat
of it. I
jewelweed.
went and bought like the most concentrated weed killer I could find. And I just sprayed all of it, and like a day later, it was done. You know, that was how I dealt with it.
You do what you got to do.
There's a lot of what are those plants? Do you remember a few years back the plants that were growing in the ditches that people were like, "Don't pick these flowers; they'll kill you."
Yeah, they call it hogweed.
That was 3 years ago. Yeah, it was like a prevalent problem. One of the guys I used to work with got it, and I was like,
Yep.
"Ugh."
The oils in the plant will
Oh,
actually
bad.
make you blister.
Yeah, that's
and
what it was.
and that's even what poison ivy will do. I was lucky I don't have any blistering going on. It's just more of a hive and it itches.
Well, he said the jewelweed helps clear up poison ivy.
Really?
It's got its own anecdote built in.
That's interesting.
I've read some, you know, like you read something, you're like, oh, that's brilliant. I'll remember this forever. Never do. It's like one of those memes or something like how to clear, you're like DIY, how to clear up poison ivy, how to get rid of skunk, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I went to the doc
I don't
today and I got some sort of a steroid cream to put on it. He said if it doesn't work, then we're gonna have to get something stronger. So, but
Yeah, you texted me and Anthony, and you're like, you guys feeling any itch or something? I was like, I don't know, the bugs were pretty terrible. You heard me complain about that the
Yeah.
whole way, but no, I had a couple bug bites and that's it.
no, these are definitely not bug bites.
And we stayed on the same trail, so I don't know. It must have been,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like we were pretty nut to butt there, crawling through, whatever.
This just got weird.
We keep it weird here. That's right. No, so we hunted Friday and Sunday this past weekend, both public land, Jefferson County and then Dodge County.
Yeah, 2 different parcels altogether. The first one was not good. It was hotter than hell, and the wind kept switching.
It was hot though. I remember because
Yeah,
I didn't
it
even
was-
put on my extra layers. I just wore like
Yeah, and I did this. I wore a
I
T-shirt
put a
out
t-shirt
there.
over my like wicking layer because I did want to try to get some of that off of me.
Yep. Yeah, and I wore a T-shirt Friday. It was way too hot to be wearing anything heavier than a t-shirt. So we got pretty sweaty getting in there.
Yeah, and the wind was mostly in our favor.
No, it wasn't. No. If it would have been in our favor, I think we would have
On Friday?
capitalized on something.
You think we bumped him out with our scent on accident?
I think so.
And we were seemingly pretty close to where they were betting. I mean, that's like this game that we're starting to play here is like, what's too close, what's not. Without knowing where a specific target buck is literally betting and identifying that and working it, we're making some assumptions. They're betting here. We have a good idea of where the majority of deer are betting.
Yeah,
And
but
we're
this
trying
is
to-
also part of it too. And now, again, we're stacking it further back because now we've stunk up the area, and we're gonna have to go in either a little deeper or reapproach from a different side. There's a couple different things we could be doing here. We'll figure it out.
And then the spot that we hunted on Sunday, we saw
Yeah,
the
we
most
saw
deer I've seen on a sit this year.
Sure.
We watched that 5-pointer on that branch for like up to 10 minutes or something like that.
Yeah. But our stink was in the air, and again, the wind was wrong. We got screwed by the wind, and it was right on the edge. And then when I was tossing milkweed down there, we watched that milkweed hook and go right to where all those deer were coming out and stopping.
Totally did. Yeah.
So it looked good at first for about 40 yards, and then the last 20 yards to that deer trail.
Sucked it in.
It sucked it right in. There was a little bit of a thermal there. There might have been some water that helped draw that too. Yeah. It was all cattails and willow in there. So very possible
It's a
that
very vast area.
it's very
How
vast.
far back do you think those deer were bedded? I mean, do you think they're right on that edge, or were they like all the way back there and coming from a
No,
ways?
well, there is an Oak Island back in there, and then it's dry this year. So honestly, those deer could be bedded anywhere. If they've got a little bit of a high spot underneath some of those willows or in the cattails, could be a muskrat hut. They'll bed right up on it. Okay. But it's so dry this year. I mean, I gotta think that there isn't a ton of water in that area where they came from.
So their opportunities for additional bedding is increased because they don't need to be on such high ground
Right.
to get out of the water.
Yeah, they have way more places to bed, and they've got more access to other food. They can walk, the opposite direction, go hit the river and get a drink, and then there's still enough greens. So honestly, they're getting there enough water, enough hydration from their food.
Sure, that makes sense. Yep.
So they'll eat different things out in the marsh.
And they seem pretty. I mean, not overly eager to get to where they were going, but
No, they
three of
weren't
them, 2 does, and then separately a buck a little bit later.
Yep.
Tried walking the same exact path to get somewhere. So,
Yeah.
the comments, Alex, someone must have smoked out the kitchen to get a pit boss. It is like an outdoor stove, I will say. Anyway, I digress. I really want to cook some venison. That's what's happening here. All I have left is those shitty brats. I'm not going to say where it's from because I'm not going to bash anybody, but they didn't turn out great. So maybe it's me and the cook, and I could do a better job.
Well, in brats, you don't need to smoke, especially if they're
I would just
from
grill them, but
yeah, you just plain old grill them.
Mm-hmm.
But we did have some good venison sticks.
Those are really good.
Yeah,
I was very impressed with that. And you're right. As I burped later, it wasn't like ridiculous.
right.
It was good. It's good garlic flavor, not over salty.
Yeah, not greasy.
See, this is why I'm like, Holly, my wife was like, you better shoot something. And so when that 5-pointer showed up, I was kind of like, #never pass. Like,
Yeah, shooter
I
buck.
was pretty trigger happy at this point. Like, you're like, let your bow eat. I'm like, yeah, let me eat. I want to friggin' eat. I'll shoot that meat buck all day long. I really do have an empty freezer downstairs that needs to get some venison put in it, and I'm eager to do that. So I'm really hoping that I'll see a doe, but I don't know if I can wait. I think if I see a shooter buck, I'm going to shoot it. We do have a caller. We got Dave from Elm Grove. Hey, Dave, you're live on the Word Hunt podcast. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How you doing?
I'm standing outside of my porch looking through the door at the baby I just put down.
Nice.
Mr. Bechtel, how are you?
Handling glycerine.
I'm doing good. Been playing phone tag with you guys, and I didn't think I would be able to get her down, but I was able to get her down. So if I suddenly say I gotta go,
You
that
got to go.
means the little bear has woken.
I have a little over a 1-year-old and a little over a 3-year-old, so I know exactly what you're talking about. So it's all good.
Yeah, she's 4 months, about a week here, so growing fast.
Awesome.
That's cool.
I mean, she's
Yeah,
healthy.
Yeah. How are you guys doing?
Doing good, a little itchy, but we're okay.
He's actually itching himself right now. It's like poison ivy. Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's never good.
No.
Thankfully, I've been pretty fortunate. I haven't gotten into any, so now I'll probably this next weekend run into a whole bunch.
Yeah, you're heading to an area of the country that's probably a little greener than what we've got right now.
Where are you headed?
Yeah, we Thursday we're heading to Missouri. Myself, Matt Hossel, and Doc Tucker from Tennessee. So
Cool.
he flies in here around 2, and then gonna try to bust tail down there and see what we can make happen. Only got till Monday, so
Oh wow.
looking forward to it.
Very cool. You hunt in public or private?
Private.
Nice.
Yeah, Matt.
Matt's got a
Matt
lease
has-
down there, if memory serves correct.
Uncanny ability to know everybody and know every farmer
Nice.
within so far Wisconsin. So he has connections. So very fortunate he was willing to bring me down there. So I'm looking forward to it. I've never been hunting in Missouri, so this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, it should be fun.
That's cool. And you had some success early season already here in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Mind telling us a little
I
bit
got,
about that?
kind of been on a little bit of a roll here. Had a lot of help along the way, so pretty fortunate. I was able to get a bear that first week of bear season, and then came home and hunting's limited with the baby. But I was able to get out, and a good friend, Sam Ubel, who you guys have had on a number of times.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
we know Sam.
Him and I filmed together quite a bit, and he had a pretty nice spot where he had shot his buck, that drop tine buck. I don't know if you guys saw that video.
Oh, yeah.
He shot that, and then he was like, "Hey, we got some more good ones. Do you want to go?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Cool.
Like he has that land down pretty well, and there's quite a few big bucks out there, and it worked out pretty sweet. The weekend prior, or it was a Friday prior, we had gone out, and I actually shot a coyote, and that's going to be on the episode. So I mean, I've never shot a coyote with my bow,
No.
so I was pretty fired up about that. But the disappointing part was I didn't get a pass through on it.
Really?
And Greg, you and I go back and forth on
Oh, yeah.
arrows, broadheads, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. You and I are always geeking out over that stuff, but that's
What are you
part of
shooting?
the fun.
Dave, what are you shooting for arrows broadheads?
Well, at that time, I had it was a Easton Access, about 520 grains, but I had a Rage on,
Yeah, that's
and I've always had great success with Rage.
sure.
And I shot the coyote, and the arrow didn't blow through it, and I was like sick to my stomach.
How
I
far?
mean, I was like, I came home, and like my wife's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, I just can't understand what happened. And Sam has the footage and is able to pull it up on his big screen, and he's like, I think that arrow deflected off a rib,
Yeah.
like the blade forced the arrow down. And I was like, just sick, just because I was like, sweetie, like, what if that's a big buck? Like, and you always play that what if game, and
Right.
I was just, nothing went right. The arrow didn't go through, and it was only at 20 yards. My Luminox blew off, and I was just like, what is going on in my world right now? And so I completely redid everything. This summer, I had tuned a number of arrows to some Magnus heads, And, Greg and I go back and forth and talk about it. And for some reason that night, I didn't grab the Magnus because it was in my quiver. And then I was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm just shooting what I know is going to bust through everything. And then thankfully we went out and got set up, and, it happened so fast. We had sat there and, Sam's filming everything. He's filming raccoon that's behind us, and we have wireless mics. So he can't hear me, but you can hear it in the audio. You can hear while he's filming a raccoon. I'm like, I'm like, fuck. And he can't hear me, but in the footage you can hear it. And then all of a sudden I just grabbed my bow because I thought he was on it. And I grabbed the bow and I draw back, and out of the corner of his eye, he saw me draw back. So he flipped around fast in the tree, and I don't know how he did it, but he managed to get the whole thing on camera.
Wow.
And the buck, he was probably at 20 yards, slightly quartering towards, and I put the pin directly on the shoulder, and I squeezed, and it zipped through that deer so fast it wasn't even funny.
Yep.
And I was just like, oh. And like, we're talking, and we're like, all right, well, and we're both excited. I mean, we're just like, what just happened? Like, this is crazy. So then we're sitting there, and I'm like, all right, well, let's give it 15 minutes, and then let's creep down and just check the arrow. And 15 minutes later, we went down, and the arrow was just caked in blood.
Beautiful.
And I was like, oh, this is a good sign. And then there's blood immediately. So we're kind of like, well, what do we do? Last year, we kind of had a fiasco with trying to get permission to locate a deer, and then they didn't give it to us. And then once the deer started to stink, they said we could take it. So that was kind of a mess.
Yeah.
But, based off the shot, I mean, I knew I punched right through that shoulder.
Right.
Like, there was no way. And, sure enough, we go out and we get on blood, and, from where the arrow was to where the deer died, I bet you it was maybe 40 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And it was quite unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I'm a believer in those Magnus heads. They're not the biggest broadhead, but gosh, you
they
can really
don't
hone
need to
those
be.
things in.
You can, yeah.
The broadhead I was shooting, I actually shot all summer. And, I got that Stay Sharp guide.
Yep.
And my wife laughs at me because my legs are missing a ton of hair because I sharpen my broadheads and then I test them on my legs to make sure, they shave hair. And if they don't easily shave all the hair on my legs, I won't shoot them.
Sure.
So, yeah, thankfully, the broadhead did its job, and
Those are hard to get now. Those Magnus broadheads, they're like
gold.
I think what Ranch Fairy had talked about them, and they're like, my dad tried to order some. He got some from he didn't get them. He ordered them from a website, and it was like a spoof site, and so he had to figure that whole mess out. But he eventually did get them, I think.
Yeah.
I tried to find some, and they're like, yeah, we can't. No one has inventory.
Yeah, they're a great head, and they're not super sharp out of the package. So you go and you tune them to your arrow setup and your bow, and you get everything rocking and rolling. You take them off, you sharpen them up with a Stay Sharp jig and some sandpaper, and work your way down to a finer grit. And then when you want to get real crazy, you take them to the strop, a nice slick piece of leather. You just keep working it back and forth until you can either cut paper like a razor blade or take body hair off. Up to you.
I got the QAD Exodus broadheads.
Yeah.
They were recommended as like the next best thing that I could get without spending, fortune.
Right.
So
that's
good to hear.
Derek Melkor, who you guys had on just recently, that's what he shoots.
Yep.
And I mean, the deer didn't even know it was hit after he shot it. I mean, those are incredibly sharp out of the package.
They
like
are.
dangerously.
I was
sharp,
scared to
but,
put them on my bow.
you
My
know,
wife's like, "Am I going to have to take you to the hospital? Or are you going to be able to screw this onto your?" I'm like, I hope not. Like, let's just be really
Exactly.
careful here, you know.
Yeah, but the beautiful thing about those magnet heads is, like you said, they're very affordable.
Yeah.
So I mean, for $40, you can get 3 of them, and then if you just take the time and sharpen them, I mean, their warranty is pretty ridiculous, and I don't have any affiliation with them, so it's not a plug for them, but it is because, I mean, if you damage the head, you take a picture of it, and they'll mail you a brand new one.
They'll mail you a new one.
Which
Yeah.
not many companies are, willing to stand by that, and I think that's pretty cool that a company will just, yep, no problem, here you go, here's a brand new one.
Yeah. They do a great job with it. And their
Yeah,
product
yeah.
definitely speaks for itself.
Yeah, so no, it's been a heck of a year. It's been started off fast and it's continuing to roll, and hopefully I get an encounter this weekend, but just to get out, it's going to be pretty fun. Looking forward to it.
Cool.
That's awesome. We'll follow along a little bit, I'm sure, and we'll see it when you guys release it. I mean, I've been enjoying watching you guys on Amazon Prime. That's a pretty cool way to consume the Chase Nation content.
Yep.
My daughter loves watching hunting with me.
Thankfully,
So
Sam he's good at that, and he's good at developing relationships with these different companies and kind of getting the name out there. And it's hard because there's a lot of people trying to do the same thing. Trying to make our content a little bit different, more of a, not just like, those prime time buck videos where it's like 32 kills in 2 hours. It's more of a story and like a journey. So, and that's Sam's vision, and all the guys on the team really share that. And, it's been fun, and just putting together something that I think a lot of people can relate to, because, I mean, in a sense, we're all average dudes. None of us are big time famous hunters. We're just average people. I'm a school teacher, and Matt Hossel works for the county, and everybody's just kind of an average Joe.
yeah, same here, man.
Yeah.
We're nothing special. That's for damn sure.
Not at all.
Especially Greg over here.
I think you guys are special.
Short bow
We gotta-
special.
Yeah, he licks the windows. It's like, come on, man.
The
We're almost
snozberries
there.
taste
Just
like
calm down,
snozberries.
you know. No, thanks
Yeah,
for sharing your
yeah.
story with us. That's really cool, and it's good to
Yeah.
hear like a product like that you're not affiliated with that you can speak to that kind of volume for. That's what I wanted to get. I just couldn't get my hands on them in time, and this guy here and our buddy Anthony, who were with us Sunday with Deervein, they're yelling at me to get broadheads because I was a little late to the game there.
Yeah, someone's got to push you along.
Yeah, takes an army.
Well,
Next thing you
stay
need-
on them, Greg.
Yeah, well, the next thing I'm pushing to do is get a camera arm so I can hand him my other handy cam, and hey, you can start filming your stuff. But
Yeah, the camera arms, again, I'm not affiliated with anybody, but that fourth arrow arm, it is a little bulkier and a little heavier,
mhm.
but the fact that you can really put it on any tree,
Yeah,
even horizontal limbs.
I actually
I mean,
bought the
you can't-
miniature version of it, the Assassin's Reach. It's basically a miniature version of that with some tweaks that make it maybe a little quieter, and some may say better, some may not, but I like it. It's more compact. It fits in my backpack pretty well, nothing hanging out.
Yep. Yeah. And it's just nice. I mean, although it is a little heavier, depending on what camera you run, and Greg, you and I ran the same camera, and
Mm-hmm.
just having that kind of weight behind the arm
Yep.
helped with that stability, even like windy conditions.
Mm-hmm.
I had an older kind of like a makeshift camera arm that I built in the metal shop at the high school. And, with a strong wind, that camera would start blowing, but with a stiffer, heavier arm, you can really get that stable footage. So you're not looking like you're
Sure.
like a bumblebee floating around with the camera, which
Yeah.
can give people headaches.
I'm surprised at how well this little arm that I have does. I mean, it is made of smaller aluminum.
T-Rex.
And it's not T-Rex arms, not like you trying to climb a tree. That's another joke. But it does pretty well, and the base is very similar with the ball and socket. And then,
Yeah.
The way
that's a genius
yeah,
idea
and it holds
that
the
they
weight
came
of
up
that
with.
camera
And
pretty well. Yeah, it is. It's a great idea because you could mount it on a log on the ground and move it around and change your angle even.
It's cool.
It's pretty slick.
Yep.
Cool.
Heck yeah. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. And I know we've been playing kind of phone tag here, and I didn't think I was going to be able to get her to go down, but tonight's a really good night. So I figured I would call in and
Oh, we
chat
appreciate
with
it.
you guys for a bit.
Yeah, it's fortunate.
Yeah, man.
Enjoy some time to yourself, man. A 4-month-old sleeping is valuable time. So certainly make sure you find something to go to enjoy yourself for a few minutes.
I'm going to make some dinner here and kick back and relax.
Sounds
Cool.
good. Cool. Good talking with you, Dave.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thanks,
Have a good
buddy.
night.
We'll talk to you.
All right, bye-bye.
We do got another caller lined up here.
Who we got?
We got, I believe it's Alex who tried to call in earlier and got some steaks on the grill. Alex, you're live on the Word Hunt podcast. What's going on? Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
There we go. We got you now. It broke up for like a half a second there. So did you enjoy your steaks?
Oh yeah, they're grilled, done, and ate.
That's awesome. So how's your season going so far?
Well, first set of the year, I launched one over a doe at 20 yards, standing at the bottom of my tree with the first stick on the tree. And then my buddy got a doe on the second sit on some public land, and I haven't been back out yet.
That's not bad. You had an opportunity to let one fly, man. That's pretty good. That's better than me.
Yeah,
5 times. I haven't even drawn back yet.
I should have had. It should have been an easy shot. I didn't have my glasses on. It was hot. It was like 80 to 85. Glasses were fogged up. I wear prescription. I was setting my first stick. Was going to put the second one. I was amazed. I even got the shot off. Bow was on the ground, hooked to my climbing rope. I had to pick it up while she was walking in. I didn't notice her till she was like 30 yards and still coming in, but I had good wind and she seen me, but I was behind some brush and I was still able to get my bow picked up, unhooked off the rope, dig my thumb release out of my pocket. I just did everything but make a good shot.
Man, that's rough. 'Cause
Things
then it's hard to you're like, you're just wondering to get another opportunity, but you will,
Oh yeah, and then I lost my probably $35 worth of arrow on top of it because I couldn't find it afterwards. So yeah, it was a fun night, but it was good to get one drawn back.
And what are you shooting? What arrows?
Victory vape, TKOs.
They're nice arrows.
I had grizzly stick single bevels then, but I actually changed to the Ozcut Hurricanes because it was the only thing I could find in 150 grain.
Nice. And so it's 150 grain. What's the number I'm thinking of? The spine?
Yeah, what spine are you running on
I'm
those?
sorry?
Your arrow spine.
300 spine.
300 spine?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm only a 26.5-inch draw.
Okay.
So
You're shooting.
and I'm only shooting like 58 pounds.
Okay.
So I've got shooting the 300 spine with the 110 grain Ethics insert and sleeve, and then the 150. So it's about I think it's like 17 to 18% FOC with the lighted knock, and it was around 20 with the standard stock knock.
With that lighted knock, you could tell that you went right over the back, huh?
Oh yeah, it was the freaking lightning bug lasering across the sky. I mean, everything was perfect. It was just like 6 inches high. She ducked it really hard. I was surprised. The grizzly stick with the vents on it is really loud. I don't know if you've shot them, but they have a definite whistle to them.
Most vented heads do. I mean, even when I was shooting a 3-blade, the G5, the Montec, and I don't know, I shot one other one too. But they had a little bit of a hiss to them. When that arrow's spinning, there's just, that hole is like a whistle. There isn't much you can do about it.
To the Hurricane. That Hurricane, I don't know if you've seen them. They're, I think, out of Australia or somewhere.
Okay.
But they have an American base. They have an American-based company. Somebody's selling them now, and they're available on Amazon. But it's the only thing I could find to get like right away. And they're a really nice arrow. They come sharp. The only thing with the Hurricanes is they got a weird edge on it. It's like it's got kind of a curve to it, so it's kind of hard to sharpen on the edge. But they come ready to fly out of the box for the most part.
Sure.
And they fly really good. I mean, they fly great, and they're really quiet compared to the vented single blade.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, we're hoping to get out this weekend. I don't know what you guys are getting for weather-wise, but we have.
Where are you located
25
again?
degree
You're in
drop.
Wisconsin, right?
I'm in South Central Kansas.
Oh, wow.
Why did I think you're in Wisconsin? That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be.
Yeah, we're going from.
Go ahead.
We're going from 84 degrees Thursday to 64 on Thursday, and then it's supposed.
Oh, dropped off for a second there. You still there?
Saturday, and it gets down to the 50s on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We have a couple nights down into the 30s, I believe, definitely into the 40s. So I'm getting out for sure Friday and Saturday. My wife made dinner plans for me on Sunday before I could say I was going hunting, so I have to have dinner cooked on the Boot Buster Sunday night, so I'm done there. But that's all right. I roll over all my vacation on Monday, and I can use it Friday, so I might use a day or two here Friday, Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, hunt them cold fronts, especially if you haven't had one in a while. Like we've had a couple roll through.
Do what?
It definitely.
I'm sorry, I had you on an earpiece and it just died.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, it got wonky for a second there, but we picked up most of what you had said.
No, I was just saying.
Yeah.
It was just saying if
What
you
was the last thing you got?
Yeah, you said you were trying to get out for that cold front, and I was just saying you got to get out on them first cold fronts because it sounds like you haven't really had one down there. If you're going from 80s down to 60s and then in the 40s, that'll be good.
Yeah, we actually had a really good one the first weekend of October, and I had plans to get out, and I had some things come up with the family that just kept me from getting out, and I actually was planning for that weekend because I had history with some bucks on my food plot on that exact date, and the moons was perfect. And I haven't even pulled cameras yet, and I'm scared to go pull them because I'm afraid I'm going to see all those bucks there.
It's the way it goes, man. It's part of the fun.
Definitely, but
it's a chess match.
I told her I was going out Friday and Saturday, and she made plans for me on Sunday before I could tell her I was going out this weekend. But that's all right. There's cold front, and I roll over all my vacation time at work on Monday, and I can use it for Friday.
Nice.
On forward. So I might burn a day here in this first week of getting it for trying to hit this cold front on my private piece I got. Hopefully maybe put a buck down in October for the first time ever. It would actually only be my third buck with a bow in 6 years of hunting.
Hey, man.
Good for you, man. That's awesome.
You keep after it. That's all you can do.
That's more than me.
and you're doing the right thing by prioritizing. You got family stuff that needs to be done. You do it because it's just going to help you hopefully get that time in the woods.
I hope so. I need to get a little better at it in the off season is my only problem.
Yeah, we all do. I mean, there's always something going on. For me, I didn't fish a whole lot this summer, but typically I would. I'd be out on that big lake chasing salmon.
Well, depending on how your season goes, sometimes people want to break. Like if you have a rough season, you're like, I'm done for a minute. Like I can stop until the next season rolls around. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
So it really depends on how your season goes too.
The season's been rough. The deer I got last year wasn't even really a deer I wanted. I shot it on the ground at 10 yards, and I watched it for an hour from the tree before I even shot it.
Sure.
It got caught in the fence crossing a creek on the neighbor's property the night before, and the property owner let it out of the fence. And it hung around the house all night. I mean, I don't know if you guys want to hear the story. It's not very long, but
no.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's hear it. That's kind of interesting.
They hung around the house all night. The owner called me at work as I was leaving work. It was hunting season. It was November. We don't start rifle season until Thanksgiving here, after Thanksgiving here. And he called me and said this buck was in the fence. They let it out, and it didn't run off. It just hung out around the house followed them up to the house after they let it out. And I couldn't get out there that night, but I was going hunting the next morning. And I told them, well, if I see it, I'll make a decision. Well, I called the game warden in the process just to, let them know what was going on, because I didn't really want to waste a buck tag on a deer that maybe has something wrong with it. And because we only get one buck here. So I called him. He told me he would write me a salvage tag for it.
Oh,
so I was
cool.
like, okay, cool. So, and when I get there, it's morning, I get there about 5:30. Sunrise, first light here is like 6:30, 6:45 that morning. And as I'm getting dressed at the truck, I see this deer. I hear something hit the metal of one of the buildings there around the house. And I look up, and this buck's walking right against one of the garages, walking around the building. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm going to shoot this deer and then go hunting, because it's like 45 degrees that morning. I'll just shoot him and then go hunt. So I get my stuff ready, and I grab my bow, and I go walking towards him. And he just kind of looks at me and just keeps walking away from me. I'm like, okay, you're not going to make this easy. And I chase him around the yard. He's running or walking. He doesn't ever run. He just keeps walking. And every time I speed up, he speeds up. I'm like, well, okay, he knows what's going on here. He's not completely out of it. Something's wrong with him. Maybe he got his ass kicked. Who knows? But I just let him be, and he goes walking to a food plot I have and a feeder. And I just let him eat and go set up in the tree. And he's like 100 yards from me, and I'm back in the woods. This food plot's like 200 yards from the back of the house. And that's probably, I'm 150 yards back into the woods away from him. I'm only hunting on 80 acres. And I don't see any deer all morning. And I hunt till about 11 o'clock, and it's 10:30, 9:45, somewhere in that time. I can't remember exactly. And here comes this deer. He made it across the creek. He's coming waltzing into the woods, just walking through the woods. But he's hanging his head on the limbs in the tree. I've never seen a deer this. He would just stand there, and he'd just sway. His body was swaying. He something was wrong. I watched him for an hour doing this. He would lean his head against a tree and like fall asleep standing up. It was the weirdest thing.
Yeah,
I'm
he
like,
wasn't
well, I
well.
just played it. I'm texting with the game warden as I'm watching him, telling him what's going on. And he's saying, well, maybe he got hit by a car or something, got hit in the head or got in a fight and got his head messed up. Who knows? And I'm watching, well, I got a live decoy there. That's what the game warden tells me. So I hunt for another hour. I don't see anything. And I just decide I'm going to get down and I'm going to shoot him. And every time I start walking towards him, he starts moving. So I got to pretty much play cat and mouse with this deer between the weeds and the brush and everything. And it's pretty thick where I'm at. And I'm only 25, 30 yards from him. But, of course, as I get down from my tree, here comes all the does I've been waiting for to move through all morning. They come through and start blowing at me immediately. They're blowing and stomping. And this buck just looks at him. Looks at me, looks at them, and doesn't move. Just stands there. And I'm 15, 20 yards from him. And he knows I'm there, but he just stands there. The does finally wander off. I finally get close enough, and I get a hole to shoot him through the brush. And I punch him with the arrow, and it goes through to his shoulder. He takes one step, just falls over and lets out a big old groan and dies right there. Doesn't even take another step farther. As he falls, I'm standing there. I'm knelt down on the ground. Here comes about a 140-inch 8-point, following where those does just came through. Where if I just stayed in the tree another hour, I probably would have had less than a 30-yard shot on him.
What do? You did the right thing, though, by putting that deer out of his misery. He wasn't well.
And I could have got another shot on that deer from the ground, but, it was a fun morning, But,
yeah, you don't see something like that,
Yeah.
Often. That's an interesting story. That's not one I've ever heard before,
I had the deer sent off to K-State. Just to have it tested.
Yeah.
And it came back came back negative for everything.
Okay, so no CWD.
It had a big pus pocket coming from its antler. When I got up to it, it had a big old nasty blob. His antler plate was cracked.
Oh.
And when I pulled the camera card a week or so later, there was a big 10-point running around like the night before with him that I think, and this was like late November here. So it was it was getting just after peak rut time here, getting towards into the second rut. But I think I shot him on December 7th.
Okay.
And so it was getting into the second rut here, and there was 3 bucks running around that night. It was him, a little bit smaller buck, and a big 10-point. And that 10-point, I seen chasing him off. I just had pictures. So, and then I had him just looking like he got his ass whipped afterwards. So I'm wondering if maybe that 10-point didn't just rock his world or hit him when he was fighting with another buck, because he had puncture wounds all on his side that looked like antler wounds, like punctures.
He sustained some injury for sure.
Yeah. So it was interesting. That was the only deer I got last year. Shot 2 does that the coyotes beat me to before I could find them.
Oh man,
and that was how my season went.
Jeez, that interesting season. Super weird.
Yeah. So, but that's bow hunting, right?
Right. You keep plugging away, and you just get better at it.
I feel like I keep getting more opportunities, but I haven't let many arrows fly yet. So
it's building up that confidence, man. That's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get more opportunities, and I'm happy to have them. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm very satisfied with that as a hunter at the moment, but boy, oh boy, am I eager to let one fly.
Yep.
Well, dude, thanks for calling in. Yeah.
All right. You guys
Thanks.
to it. Have a good night. Good luck.
Thank you. You too.
Right back at you.
Thanks, guys.
Well, anybody else calling in?
I got no other callers in the queue at the moment, so it's just us.
It's just us.
And Levi.
And awkward silence.
Levi Carey says, "Dead boys." He's scouting.
The boys. That's us, dear guy.
How's Wyoming? I'm sad we're not going to go there now. I was really looking
We'll
forward
go
to
there
that.
a day. We got to apply and get the points and keep going after it. And if nothing else, we look at doing something that maybe doesn't require as much. Maybe we go deer hunt out there. I'd be happy.
That's right. We did say that.
I'd really be happy to go hunt. There's a ton of whitetail up in the...
Yeah, people don't like them out there, right? Or something?
No, they don't. They don't like them. But I think a tag out there is kind of pricey because you get a deer tag.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a chance at a whitetail or a mule deer.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Are mule deer good to eat? I've heard good things about elk.
I
like whitetail, but
I've heard mixed
much about
reviews
mule deer.
about mule deer. Some guys say they taste too sagey, and whitetails taste better.
I've had elk.
I think it
I've
depends.
never had a mule deer.
Yeah.
Levi, do you want to weigh in on this? Do you want to call? We're winding down here, anyways. We're bringing this plane in for a landing, like 5 to 8. Greg finished his scotch. I feel bad. You just drink the scotch. I don't even know if you're a scotch guy or if you like scotch. That's just what we have.
Yeah, I drink scotch.
You like scotch?
Scotch, whiskey,
Okay.
bourbon.
Okay. All right. All of
Oh,
that. Levi said he loves mule deer. It's all about the processing.
Yep, I would agree because I've even eaten my share of bad whitetail. Wasn't processed correctly or in a timely fashion. It can all taste like crap if it's not processed properly.
It's true. Yeah,
care in the field is where it starts. So
Karen. Just kidding.
Karen.
Don't be a Karen in the field.
Don't be a Karen in the field.
Karen in the field. I don't know. I'm making shit up.
Yeah, you are.
Well, I'd call, but I'm eating dinner with the family. Good for you. Then get the hell off the phone.
Guy.
The heck are you doing?
Go have dinner with the family.
Michael Krushmer says moose, elk, whitetail, mule in that order. Ooh, moose.
Moose.
Damn it. Well, I don't have any intention of hunting one of those anytime soon, that's for sure, but
we should have Mr. Kretschmer on. He's got a few stories to tell.
You hear that, Mike?
We'll have you on.
You let us know.
You've even reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'd be happy to come on."
We're booked till November's kind of spotty, but October's full. November's got a couple openings. We're keeping one open intentionally.
Yep.
And then December will be wide open. So hit us up.
December, yeah. And Mike might be, he'll be done duck hunting by then, and he'll be moving on to ice fishing.
Yeah. We'll take off for the holidays. You won't hear from us on Christmas and New Year's. The whole stretch will just be done for a
Either
little
way,
bit.
we'll be happy to talk to him.
Absolutely. Cool. All right. Well, hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the call. Wait. Whoa. We do have another call. Who we got there? Oh, well, we're going to take this call for sure. Mitch Baker, is that you?
What's happening, fellas?
You're live on the show.
Holy mackerel.
It's been a hot minute.
It's a blast from the past. How are you?
Yeah.
We were just about to hang up, and then we saw you here, so we're like...
It does seem like forever ago.
I know.
It was about a year ago, actually.
Well, for you, but I stopped up and saw him in spring.
Oh, well, yeah, a year since he was here.
But yeah, it's been about a year. How you doing, my friend?
Changed the table position.
Yeah. Oh, doing well. Just busy.
Yeah?
Super busy, man.
You're a little tight, keeping you busy, and Liz has got you doing all sorts of fun stuff.
Yeah, I have about 1,000 projects going on right now, and full-time daddy daycare. So
awesome.
It's been a little tight, a little tough getting out hunting, but I did get my week in Colorado, so
yeah,
so that was nice.
Yeah, I got to see some pictures of that on the gram. It looked like you had a great time. You didn't get to shoot one, but you saw some hellacious country.
Oh yeah, no, I got educated for sure.
Was it
every time you go out, you learn more and figure out what to do next time.
Sure. Was it a general unit you went to, or was it a draw?
Yeah, I was general.
Okay.
It's kind of like last minute.
Okay.
Last minute, decided to go pick a spot on the map and figured it out.
We might have some questions for you about that.
That was Colorado, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna talk to you.
Yeah, we're gonna talk to you another time.
Don't worry, we'll get you some bourbon
or something.
Or something.
Well, I'm happy to help anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely was thinking about you guys when I was out there. I'm like, oh yeah, you guys are planning on going somewhere.
Yeah, we're not.
Information could come in handy for you guys.
Yeah, we have no clue, but we would love to talk to you, and we got a couple other guys.
General Archery, Colorado, 2021,
mm-hmm.
September-ish, right? That's all we know for now.
Ish or October.
To buy some,
might be
some
October.
stuff,
I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah. I just kind of picked a spot and looked at terrain and just went in there and bumped into some elk. So
sure,
it didn't work out as far as bringing meat home, but it very easily could have had I played my cards right.
And hindsight's 2020. It's so hard to make those judgment calls in the moment like that.
I would have known that.
If only I had a time machine.
But I'll know it next time and take that into account. So
absolutely. Did you just go solo?
What it's all about.
Oh, did we lose him?
Okay,
there he
I
is.
can hear you again.
There he is.
Who knows?
Did you go by yourself?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, I went by myself. I had a buddy that was hunting 4 or 5 miles away.
Okay.
So we could have hooked up. We were kind of split up and we're doing our own thing. But if one guy was into elk, we would have definitely shared that information. So.
Right. And helped each other pack out and all that other fun stuff.
Yep. And, I met few sets of guys that were like, hey, if you need anything, if you get one, let us know. We'll come help. We're excited to, see how it goes. Because, a bunch of guys that were just new.
Sure.
First timers. So.
Well, that's awesome.
That's cool.
So.
Well, that'll be us next year.
Met some good people, and we'll, we can definitely. Haven't been whitetail hunting yet, though, which is a super rarity.
Well, when you getting out? Do you have any plans?
As soon as I can. I did. I did drive over to my neighbor's yesterday. I had to cut a tree for him, and I chased a bunch of deer off his fields when I was driving in at perfect time that I should be sitting on the edge of the field.
Sure.
There's a pretty decent 8-point buck standing right out in the middle of the field in broad daylight, close to the road. So I'm like, well, there's out there.
Yeah, it tells you that.
Waiting.
There's the itch.
Yeah, and it tells you that property's not getting any pressure either if they're out there wandering around.
Yeah,
but deer were hitting the fields early last night down here with that cold front that rolled in, and now it's supposed to drop even more. So I got to believe we're going to start seeing more movement, food-based, real soon here.
Yeah, it looks like it should be a good time. I mean, I was looking at scrapes on the ground 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
At least, which is seems a little early, but that was just me walking. I have been hunting. I carry my bow with me with my daughter in my pack on our trails, and maybe something. Just stop and stand there. I've practiced with her on my back many times. We do it often, so
sure.
Yeah, you never know.
You don't.
To the extent of my money.
It'll be the time you don't bring it that it'll happen. You're
Yeah.
like, damn it, and so then you're gonna have to do it every time because you just don't want to have that lingering in your mind that if something presents itself. But the drag out with your daughter on your back should be interesting.
Yeah, I'd be able to figure it out, but she'd help. She'd want to help.
Absolutely.
You're a pretty fit guy. Well, cool, man. Thanks for
Yeah,
calling in. It's good to hear. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, most of the time I'm like in the middle of bedtime, and then I was just about to start doing some work. I'm like, oh yeah, you guys
Those
are still
goofballs
on.
are alive.
We're still, they still let us come on the air.
We
Well, I
weeded
might
out all our
today.
prank callers, so we're we don't mind keeping the phone lines open. It's cool. Well, cool. Thanks so much, man. We'll be in touch. Believe me.
Absolutely. We'll get together, have some
Definitely.
beverages and food or something.
I'm paying attention. I'm not super lively on Gram or the Facebook on commenting on stuff, but
That's okay.
I'm definitely
You're consuming.
definitely following.
Cool.
I don't
Awesome.
have time to type anymore.
No,
It's all
No.
good.
we hear you.
So, yeah, we'll be in touch.
All right, man.
Good luck, you guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Out
you.
there.
You
Good
too.
opportunities.
Yes. Take care.
Yeah, later.
Well, with that, I'd say
That's a wrap.
thanks everybody for tuning in. We're gonna end the show with the live feed now, but have a great night.
Thanks for tuning in.